So I'm scrolling YouTube yesterday and I see this video where it looks like he's in a lot of pain. It looks like he's struggling mentally in life, just overall feeling lost. And although he never asked for it, I'm going to break this video down and try to see where it all went wrong for this gentleman. All right, so let's check out what Luke here has to say.
I'm here today to talk about life and wasting your time. Currently, I am 25 years old, and for the past 5 years, I've basically been single, living in, I guess you could call it agony, but as said before, I still get up and do my job. I'm not like helpless or anything. A lot of people would say that it's such a waste of time and I could have been doing so many other things, right? The way I see it is I've learned a lot in the past 5 years about people and what is actually important. You know, when I was a teenager, I would jump from relationship to relationship to relationship. And, you know, even like really early 20s, well, yeah, I guess you could say that. But I don't know if you guys are the same way. If you guys would just get in a relationship and it wouldn't work out. You know, you date someone for a couple months or something, you break up, and you're thinking like, why me? You know, and then you go in another relationship and it doesn't work out and you go to another one and another one. Basically, you don't think about what you're doing when you're doing it. And I think that a lot of people need that, because that was my downfalls. I would just do things, you know, and nothing happened. And then when something happens, you're like, how could this happen? You know, but you don't realize what you're doing until it's too late. And so a lot of people think that dating is like a waste of time, and not dating is a waste of time, and not doing anything is a waste of time, and doing too much of something is a waste of time. And
so I don't think anything is necessarily a waste of time. I don't think doing drugs is a waste of time. I don't think dating's a waste of time. I don't think playing video games a waste of time. I don't think any of these things are necessarily a waste of time. I think experiences teach us something, right? And with each experience, we can take the knowledge or the lesson we learned from that and we can transfer it. It's transferable into all other areas of our life most of the time, or we can make it transferable, right? Like as an example, I've done all that shit too, right? And now I have a YouTube channel talking about it. I know how to troubleshoot certain problems because I have had those problems. But what I do think is a waste of time is repetitively doing these things, because at a certain point you're not gaining any new experience. You're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and that is a waste of time. There's a saying we had in the trades, and I used to be a plumber for nearly a decade, and that's, you don't have 20 years of experience, you just did the same year 20 times.
You know, you should be focused on being in the top 1%. And I'm sitting here thinking, it's not about that, man. You know, it's not about how much money you make or kind of job you have or the career, you know.
So he's right about that. It's not about being in the top 1%. It's just about being happy. And I have a lot more to add to this, but let's let this gentleman finish what he has to say first.
Oh, maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't care for any of that shit. I think my coworker said it best when he said, how can he believe that there is good people out there if he's not good himself? My coworker asked me one time why I'm so generous. And I told him that. And they said that I'm so nice. But I don't feel nice, you know. I look around and I see shit and I feel like I could be doing something more to help. Maybe I just believe that life happens for a reason.
So this is actually some super insightful stuff that this guy's dropping knowledge on us with. And I wish I could actually sit down with him and probe him a little bit more and ask some questions to actually find out more of what's going on in his life. But because I can't do that on the surface level, this is what I'll say. So the first thing that I've kind of noticed here is it sounds like he doesn't love himself. It sounds like he doesn't like who he is. His coworker said, "How can I believe there are good people when I don't believe that I'm good myself?" Then his coworker later asked him, "Why are you so generous?" And the reason why is because of what his coworker said earlier. He's trying to be good so he can believe that there are good people, essentially. But it doesn't really sound like he's having a lot of success. This statement, however, is 100% true. The world isn't as it is, the world is as you are. So if you believe you're a bad person, you're going to naturally believe that everyone else is also a bad person until they give you a reason why they're not. If you're negative, you're going to see the world through a negative lens. So here's, I guess, maybe not a perfect example, but I'm going to try to jump into another realm of life to be able to contrast and give some context to this, right? So you often hear people being like, social media is super toxic. It's super negative. I hate it. It's ruining the world. We've all heard this rhetoric from people, right? Well, the funny thing about this statement is social media algorithms are programmed to show you what you like watching. So if you believe that social media is toxic, it's terrible, it's negative, all of these things, that's because you are consuming and watching the negative and toxic content on that platform. Now, my social media feed, and I don't say this to gloat or anything like that. That's not the purpose of me saying this. My social media feed is all educational content, inspirational content, motivational content, because that's what I like to consume. So I don't think social media content is toxic at all, and I think it's the greatest tool ever invented in humanity. The world isn't as it is. The world is as you are. It is all about perspective. It is all about the lens for which you choose to view something. That's why there's a saying, the glass is half full or it's half empty. It's all about the perspective. Life does happen for a reason, and I guess this is probably the best unsolicited advice that I could give to somebody without knowing more about their situation. Your purpose of this planet is to become the best version of yourself and then give that person to the world. And when you accomplish this, you will help the world in a massive way, because I saw at the end of that clip there, he basically stated that he wanted to be able to help the world more. He just doesn't know how to do it. Well, when you become the best version of yourself, this is how you pass down your teachings and help the world. Because on the pursuit to becoming the best version of you, you will encounter and overcome so many problems that people are stuck dealing with that don't know how to get through them or work through them or get past them. And now that you have overcome that problem and you know the solution to overcome that problem, you can pass down that teaching and help other people overcome it. Our purpose, or the reason to life, I believe, is to help other people, but we can't help other people until we help ourselves first. The purpose of becoming the top 1% isn't so you can hoard all of the money and be greedy and do greedy shit with the money. It's because if you have money, you can help more people. But if you don't have any money, you can't help anybody. If you're not on the pursuit to becoming the best version of yourself, then you're likely not going to encounter new problems. You're going to be stuck with the current problems you have, likely for the rest of your life, and you'll probably encounter new problems that you also won't solve, and then you'll just be left with nothing but problems. So this Luke gentleman here is very smart. He says some very profound stuff, and I feel like he has a lot of potential. He just seems really lost. So if you're like Luke here, or maybe Luke is actually watching this, here's some more unsolicited advice about what I would do if I was in this situation. So the first thing, I would stop smoking, because there ain't no way that smoking is making you better to any degree. And once you solve that problem, because smoking is a problem, you can now teach somebody else how to solve that problem, because there's a lot of people who are smoking cigarettes who don't want to be smoking cigarettes, who would love the solution to that problem. And actually, if you help somebody solve that problem, you might even be saving lives, just over the long term. And the second thing is to get into a regular fitness routine. Now, maybe Luke here already has one, but I've personally never seen somebody depressed who goes to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. This is going to basically force you to form a higher opinion of oneself, and on the pursuit of getting in shape and consistently going to the gym, you're going to encounter a lot of problems that you have to overcome, like waking up when you don't want to wake up and getting to the gym when you don't want to get in, and oh, it's legs day, and legs day is freaking terrible and everybody hates legs day, but you went and you did it anyways. Oh, now you're building muscle. You're starting to look a little bit better. Maybe I can help a bunch of people do that. And then the third thing is to just start doing everything that you say you're going to do. If you say you're gonna wake up at 6 a.m., wake up at 6 a.m. If you say you're gonna go to the gym tomorrow, you better go to the gym tomorrow. If you say you're not gonna eat like shit today, you better not eat like shit today. And the reason why we do this is because confidence is essentially how much we trust ourselves, right? When you're confident in a certain thing, that means you trust yourself to be successful at doing that certain thing. Well, the more you do the stuff you tell yourself that you're going to do, you are building trust in yourself, therefore building confidence. And the thing about trust is it's very hard to love people that we don't trust. Therefore, if you don't trust yourself to do what you say you're going to do, it's going to be very hard to love who you are. When you say you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. and then hit the snooze button 3 times, you just violated your own trust. When you say you're going to go to the gym tomorrow and then you don't, you just violated your own trust. When you say you're going to quit smoking and you don't, you just violated your own trust. How can you love somebody who you blatantly don't trust? So start small, start stacking small wins, building that trust and subsequently building that confidence, building that confidence in yourself. You can get out of this. Start working on building that better version of yourself and then help others to do the same. Oh, and quickly before I go, typically when you're living as the best version of yourself or on the pursuit to become the best version of yourself, you will naturally make more money. So I know we were talking about the top 1% earlier in this video. Usually the way to get there is, let me explain this. Okay, so you will never out-earn your level of personal development, right? So first, what happens is your character grows, the money follows. This is exactly why people who win the lottery, I think it's like 80% of them end up losing it within a year, because what happens is their character is right here, their personal development. Suddenly their money goes way up here. Well, that does not align with universal law, so their money comes all the way back down to where their level of personal development is. So on the pursuit to becoming the best version of yourself, you should, in theory, universal law, attract and make more money just by nature of doing that. Don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, make sure you watch one of these ones because you'll like these ones. I'm 𝐎𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐑. Appreciate you guys.